Welcome everyone to today's episode of Stay in Your Lane. We're going to be concluding our temperature versus download discussion, temp tail versus download. We have a new face on with us today, Nagarajah from Tive. Nathan, you haven't met Raj, say hi, and that's Nathan Helms
Good morning.
from Organic
Nathan.
Valley. Guys, go ahead and get familiar with each other.
Nathan, how you doing? Nice to meet you officially. As John just said, my name is Raj. I'm the director of sales over here at Tive for our food and beverage team. I've been with the company for about 4.5 years. Started pretty early here as employee number 19. We're well over 250 strong now, so been here through a variety of chapters for the company and excited to be part of the discussion here today.
It's a pleasure. Nathan Helms, I'm the director of transportation for Organic Valley. And being that we deal in predominantly refrigerated dairy products, I'm very interested to hear what's going on.
All right. Well, Raj, to catch you up, we've done a couple of podcasts in this series talking about which one is supersedes the other, which one is correct, either a temperature download from the trailer tracker or a recorder that's placed in with the product when we get to the receiver and there's a problem, or we get an inbound shipment into us and there's a question or a problem. We have a temp variance. As we all know, I think the most important part of this is about 13 and a half months from now, we are all going to be working with a different set of rules of engagement. I don't know that everybody in the industry really realizes what that means, but the FSMA regulations change. That's part of it. And as Don Durham had shared with us previously when I met with him at the Food Shippers Conference and he spoke with us, the Food Safety Organization had always been a guidance organization for probably the past 10 years. Give you multiple guidelines on what you should be doing, what you could be doing, examples to be safe and to be operating within the constraints of what we see or deem as food safety regulations. And that has changed now. So effective January 2026, the Food Safety FSMA organization will go from a guidance organization to an enforcement organization, which is a pretty strategic shift. Don shared that with us. We talked about it. There are 580 some pages of the latest guideline. Is it FSMA 204, I want to say? That may be wrong, but it's close. With if this, then we should be doing that, and vice versa. But the biggest thing that's changing is any location that your food is going to sit, or a food item is going to sit or be transferred or cross-docked, where there is any variance in temperature, then it needs to be tracked and documented for 2 years from the point in time that happens. That's a game changer. So with it, originally was, how do we alert the public of an outbreak or of a safety concern? And then how do we pinpoint where it happened or how it happened? Now all of those things are going to be immediately requested within 24 to 48 hours, and you have to be able to provide the data. So Don made a joke, we almost need a Fitbit on every shipment, and we need a total system that in the country that allows for this, and that's recognizable between different SKUs and such. And this change is happening whether people really realize it or understand what it really means or not. And we don't really have a great deal of excess time to be prepared in our networks and our supply chains to accommodate this. So we know things are changing, but we're still struggling when there's a temp problem at times because we don't know what is accurate. We can't be sure. The days of drivers being able to pulp product on the dock are gone. That in most instances, that's not available. Drivers carrying a thermometer to pulp things, etc., before it goes in the trailer, those days aren't here any longer. That was in the past. So when we back into a trailer and we pick up, we have to be somewhat confident that the shipper has the product down to the proper temp before it goes in our trailer. We have to trust that. And then when we go to the receiver, we have to trust that their facility and their processes are going to keep temperature integrity. And when we have a variance, then it becomes you're chasing it backwards, right? It's already happened, and you're getting it after the fact. We have the solution with us today, and it's a company called Tive. And Raj is here. He's the director of sales for Tive. And I don't know that everyone realizes the true value that the unit is going to bring throughout the industry. Raj, can you share with us what units you have available and what the concept is that you guys are selling and providing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you said a bunch of great things there, John. I absolutely think that a lot of people are, quite literally unprepared for what's coming. It's been lingering out in the air for a while, but soon and even now, people are realizing you got to get real about this. And, Tive, while we are part of the equation, we're not the only piece of it. When we look at our great examples of people that are really taking this seriously, it's a full end-to-end sort of checklist. What are we doing at cooling and loading? What sort of transportation partners are we, partnering with that are going to help us, achieve sort of the cold chain integrity that we want to have to be the best sort of product out there, maintaining quality, food safety standards, all of that. But, to your point, the solutions we're offering and, we're the newer kid on the block. Everyone out there is probably wondering, why are we talking to a temp recorder provider? Sure. At our core, we do devices and software just like tons of solutions you may have used in the past. Founded in 2015, over these last 9 years or so, we've really just proven to be doing it bigger, better, and actually helping people achieve results. When we look at the market, because of the Food Safety Modernization Act, every shipment out there of food should have a device on it today of some sorts, whether that's passive or real time. That's the real question. And when we look at the market, probably only 25 to 30% of every shipper out there moving a food related product is leveraging something that has real time capabilities today. And while we have passive temperature tracking solutions here at Tive today, our real focus is real time data because our belief is that while putting a passive temperature logger on a shipment satisfies a compliance check mark, it doesn't allow for any proactive behavior. It's a wasted investment in a lot of our minds. You put a logger on there, something goes from California to Winn-Dixie or CNS or whoever. It gets there and it has an issue, and you've spent $25, but you couldn't do anything about it. A year later, getting hit with a rejection or claim.
I want to stop you right there. The Rhine recorder's been around for 100 years. The tiny clock in the plastic box and the roller with the teeth and the paper.
And millions of those are still bought every single year.
They've been around for 100 years, right? I mean, is it close to 100 years?
Yeah, it was our CEO actually put a video out about it last week. I think it was invented in 1926.
Okay. So
something like that.
98 years.
Yeah.
Going to be 99 soon. So, not to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Your product is going to needs to, if you're shipping food in the country, your product is the total solution to an expansive network of our industry, right? If we look at the carrier base, some have Samsara and real-time temperature tracking, etc. But if you need to follow something through the supply chain, no matter where it ends up, your product keeps it all in one place. It also satisfies the GPS need for location services. It also helps our benefit because when you have trailers that you need to make sure haven't been tampered with, the light sensor to notice ambient change in light, even in the dark it works. It recognizes the doors being opened. But you don't have a sensor on the door, so you're not going down to the equipment level. You're not tracking a driver, right? Like we do with some processes where we track a driver and his phone, And then that goes through another system, whether it be MacroPoint or whoever you use, and then you tie everything together and connect it through your system and EDI the information onto your shipper. This is actually on the product. Does all of these things, gives us all of this information, follows the temperature. We use it proactively with multiple of our shippers, that we can tell whether the unit's on start-stop within an hour of leaving a shipper. We can stop and correct that with the carrier at that point in time. And we can see if anything is happening real time and get ahead of it. Not find out when we end up at a receiver. But go ahead.
No, you're saying all the right things. And going back to what you're talking about with FSMA, I mean, there's all these key critical events that are part of the sort of traceability that FSMA is focused on, and transportation and distribution is the one us three here are focused on here today. And while it's not going to solve every single key critical event, when you think about FSMA and what it's trying to solve for, it's the digital record keeping so that swift action can be taken in the event of an issue or an outbreak or whatnot. And if products being moved at a cross dock or even from just A to B, real-time data stored on the cloud, unlike passive solutions or things like a data logger or tape strip, having it available in the cloud is allowing you to satisfy that sort of requirement. And the conversation's changed. It's opened up to a lot of things. I mean, cargo theft year over year, I think, is up like 53%. And food and beverage last year was not the number 2 thing after high value goods, but it certainly is this year. Thieves are going after everything. They're trying to sell everything. And so a lot of our food and beverage shippers now, to your point, are using this for, asset protection. I mean, just last month, we helped a big beef shipper in the Midwest, use the GPS on the device to track down a stolen load of beef. And this is a common occurrence. They're going after anything that's easily resellable.
Continue watching on the next episode of the Stay in Your Lane podcast.